Shall we begin?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the More Than Just Keto podcast. This is episode number 23, and I am one of your hosts, Molly.
Hello, friends. I am your other host, Ashley. So you may have heard the term body positivity. You may have heard diet culture. You may have heard that they don't like each other. You may have heard a lot of things, right? One concept that we have found that we didn't even know about and that we definitely did not create, but we had a conversation and it came to mind, the term body neutral.
Yeah.
And is that a concept? What a concept that would be. Upon further investigation, we have found that there is such a movement.
Yes.
And it really sparked an amazing conversation that we had about how we feel about our bodies, how we make the connection between body positivity and diet culture, what that means to us. And we think this is an amazing episode to really dive in on those concepts and talk about what they mean to us, but to provoke the thought of what they mean to you.
We were talking, we talk all the time and we have these conversations, and here we are talking about body neutral, but we never realized that it was called that.
That's
and
a
then
thing.
Ashley was like, we were like, oh, the body positivity and blah, 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 blah. And then Ashley goes, why can't we just be body neutral? And I was like,
Yes.
Hey, that should be a thing.
Thing.
Let's make it a thing. And like Ashley said, we investigated and learned it is. And it
is
should
a
be.
thing.
It should be. When we talked about body neutral, right? What does it actually mean? I started looking it up. I started looking at different things. I started listening to different influencers that were talking about it. And I'm like, dang, where
so
are these
cool.
women? Where are they on my page? I need more of this body neutral, because the body neutral takes the emotion out of it, and it takes the pressure off of the body positivity that the body positivity has become, where we're just supposed to love our bodies no matter what. Just love them, love them. We all got to love our bodies, when that's really not realistic, right? And loving your body means different things to different people.
Exactly. And I think too, like the big thing here is that there is nothing wrong with body positivity.
Right.
And I really don't think a lot of people hate on diet culture. And I'm going to explain more why I don't hate on diet culture. I think that they both have their own space, but I think what started out as both of them being good concepts and movements the internet has turned this into something else.
The war
right?
of the body positivity and the
It's
diet
become
culture.
a war, but I
Yeah.
don't really think that was ever like
The intention.
of either party. From me looking at my own research and looking at the beginnings of each one, it's like both are there to help you become better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, we lost that original message, I think, and it's extreme. So what
I was
you
going to
see,
say, it's just that extreme
and
behavior.
that's just what the internet does. It's kind of like
with
media,
everything.
right?
Yeah.
The story is the story, but it's 10 times bigger. It's a tall tale. And I think, for someone who's in social media and who's in diet culture, but believes in body positivity, I feel like our message and a lot of the messages that we see on our community or see in our community maybe are very similar, and that we all actually think a lot more alike than we think.
Yeah.
I've had that
experience.
not as separated as
Right.
these two movements make it seem.
Absolutely.
And that a lot of us are more body neutral without even realizing it.
Right. Right.
And I really want to promote that. I think that that is such an amazing concept to, be neutral about things that you do or don't like about your body. You don't have to be extreme. You can love your body and respect it and want it to be better at the same time, and also still not love certain things. And I think that that is totally normal.
Yeah, I think this just came to my mind. You know that meme that says, some days I feel lean, I feel great, and some days I feel like a busted can of biscuits, Because I
Right.
feel like that sometimes. Some
Yeah,
days
for
I
sure.
feel more bloated, or I feel like the rolls are extra and they
Or you
bother
try
me. And
something on and you
sometimes
just don't like it. And
it's a
and
little
it makes you have a
tight,
little
right?
weird moment of, body confusion where you're like, wait a minute, okay, I looked really good in that and I feel like $1,000,000 and I put this on. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of work to do. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
everybody's been there.
Right. Everybody's been there, but I think where I know for myself, and this is our podcast where we share about our views, our opinion, what we've seen, what we've experienced. And I want to talk about the diet culture because I agree with you when it comes to the like diet culture, the way you see it. Because I feel the same way. I don't feel like it's
Yeah.
evil, and I don't feel like it's the devil. I do feel like there's the extreme, like you said. But what I was going to say about body positivity, I have actually felt guilty for not liking a part of my body in the past. I've done
Yeah.
a lot of growing when it comes to my body image in this last year more than ever
Yeah. Same here for
because
sure.
I've lost more weight than I've ever lost as an
Yeah.
adult
Oh,
and
yeah.
focused, I should say, because I lost weight in my 20s and like I'm 40 something, right? But I've paid attention and it's different this time because it's been done in a healthy way as opposed to the past
Well,
where
you're
I've
doing a
lost
little
weight
bit
because
more
I
work before you were just focused on losing weight. Right
before I was
now,
taking the pills and
right.
starving
And
myself.
now
Like it's totally
you're on a
different.
health journey, like
A health
fully
journey.
with your
Right.
mind and your soul and your the
All
whole
in. I'm
thing,
all in.
all in.
A
Yep.
whole journey. Right. So the thing that I will not forget, I posted last year a picture because I wore shorts for the first time out of my house. And it was a big deal. It might have been,
Yeah.
I said last year. I mean, it could have been 2019. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was in the last year or so. I wore shorts and I made a post about it. And I remember saying, I believe some will say, you should have always worn the shorts, or you should
Yeah.
always wear the bathing suit, or you need to. And I don't like that. And I'll tell you why. Don't tell me how I need to feel about
About
my
your body.
body.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Yep.
I don't feel comfortable with something, that's my decision. And you telling me I should do it isn't going to make me do it. And I don't
Right.
want to feel bad because I don't do it. You know what I'm
But you're
saying?
also not saying that the other person can't do
I
what
ain't telling them what to do,
right. So
but
there's no it
I'm
just
not going to
it's
go
about
in there.
you. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else, which is this is where the narrative normally gets like weird. It's like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
you're saying that certain people." No. You'll never hear me say you shouldn't have done this or done that. And I totally understand what you're saying. There are things that I thought I was going to be able to wear and like that are not the case. They're just it's not going to happen for me. And I know exactly what you're talking about. People would say, "Well, just wear the dress or wear the shorts or wear whatever." And when I first started losing weight, those were my motives to wear those things, to do those things.
Right.
I couldn't foresee ever actually getting to this point and realizing that, and I've talked about this before, losing weight and losing almost 100 pounds for me in my body, there's obvious indications of that weight loss.
Right.
And I never one thought I was going to get there, and two, I didn't think far enough ahead of when I got there what that was going to mean and how it was really really honestly realistically going to look.
Mm-hmm.
So I carry most of my weight or did. I carried it all over in the beginning obviously, but I am more pear shaped, so I carry more weight in my lower half. So I never anticipated on having like skin on the inside of my thigh that is clearly like I joke that it's like puddly. It's
I was gonna say, is
soft.
that the
It looks
puddly
a
you
little
talk about?
droopy. Yeah, it looks a little droopy. The cellulite to me feels more prominent now because that skin has lost its plumpness
Right.
and it's more obvious like in the light. And there were times during my weight loss journey that I really was like, "Oh my gosh, like I hate this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this. I don't like this. Like I'm losing weight, I'm doing all this work." And it took a lot. It's taken me and it's going to be something that I really fully understand that I have to work on for the rest of my life. Like it's a narrative that I have to change.
Right.
And I think this is maybe why it's so important to me and it's important to you because you know what this is like and you're working through it too. Is like I have to change the relationship and the way that I feel about the things that I see and what is important.
Yeah.
So, and this narrative is sometimes changed by social media because I have people that message me and they're like, how do I not have loose skin? I don't want to lose weight if I'm going to have loose skin. And I'm like, man, it makes me reflect and say, okay, Ashley, You don't like your legs. You don't like this, that. So think about this. Would you rather have that weight that you had on your body or have this?
Right.
And never have I once said, I'd rather have the 100 pounds back.
Right.
And so it's that constant reevaluation and readjustment of your actual reality of saying like, hey, what what I'm starting to do now is say that is a badge of honor. All right? That
Mm,
is the
mm.
actual proven success that you did this.
Yeah, that's
You
good. That's
made
good
it this far.
perspective. Yeah.
And I just keep, in life,
Mind
that is
shift.
what exactly life is all about perspective.
Yeah.
You get out what you put in and you physically enjoy what you decide you're going to enjoy. You take away the parts of life that you want to,
Hmm.
and you let in the negative things if you do.
Right.
That's a choice that we
It's
all make.
always
And
a
so
choice. Yeah.
it is. And so I started having that conversation with myself. It's like, okay, well, if you can't change that and you wouldn't be willing to go back and gain the weight back for that, then you have to move forward.
Right.
Well, what does that look like? That looks like taking the emotion out of what I hate and stop acknowledging it. Stop
Right.
fueling that hate and giving it so much power.
And that,
And that is
friends,
being
is body
neutral.
neutral. It's respecting and appreciating your body without positive or negative emotions attached.
So now it's like, I don't wear that because that's just not my favorite part to expose. So I'm just going to wear something different. Or I will say to myself, look at all that hard work you did.
Yeah.
Like that is physical proof that you did all the hard things that you never thought you were going to do.
Yeah.
That is you bossing up, owning your transformation,
Yeah.
knocking out your transformation goals. You don't have to love it. You earned the right to be neutral about it.
Right.
It
I
is what it
love that.
is.
See, I love
It is
that.
what it is. Here
It
we are.
is
I
what it
don't love
is.
it. I'll tell you right now. I don't love my legs. I don't love my cellulite. I don't like the skin. I feel self conscious about it.
And don't you come tell her she better love it.
I don't have to love it.
All you extremists.
I don't have to love it. And I don't have to hate it because there is no space in
Right.
my transformation journey that hate needs to live. And
Exactly.
that is
Right.
really important because I spent a lot of time being fueled by hate to
And
do
what did you
things.
say last episode? You said hate. I loved it.
You can't hate yourself better. You can't hate yourself to
To make the
success.
right, to make
It
the
doesn't
improvements right.
exist. You that will only get you so far. And I said it last time
Yes, I
and I'll say it
love
every
that. It's
time.
worth saying
Your
again.
hate doesn't have enough fuel. It's loud and it can be explosive. It can be a motivator, but it really won't last.
Right.
And if it does, you won't like who you are at the end.
That's right. That's
And
right.
that's important.
Yeah. Well, so you just shared that about your legs. Let me share this because I've really come to see myself differently this last year. I kind of had an idea of what I thought my body would look like at the end. At the end, right? What's the end? At the end. I don't know what the end is, but I had this idea in my head for the longest time. And it was because of diet culture. It was because of the after bodies. And I talked about this before.
Yeah.
I saw those bodies and I thought, wow, okay,
wanna
that's
look
what
like
I'm
that.
going to get.
Yeah.
And the reality is, I'm not there. And then I guess what I've seen lately in my body is I'm 47 years old now. My skin is not the same. My body was much bigger than this, and I have lost weight. So now I've got the stretch marks, the cellulite, the skin. I've got all of that. But I've also got the aged skin. So it's like on top of it, I've got that. And that was it's actually a very recent realization I've had. It's actually very fresh. So this is all kind of new. I've only just started sharing this with you today. We talked about this a little earlier. And I was looking at the different things, and it was a couple days ago when I was doing the whole all right, when I look in the mirror on a Monday morning, when I do my weekly check-in, I'm like, okay, all right, you're looking good. Good job. This body's done well. You've done good. You've worked hard. I love you. The whole
Oh yeah.
the whole positive
To yourself.
affirmations to myself.
Exactly.
Self-love, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Gotta have that.
and as I was doing that, when I turned to do my video, I saw under my chin. I guess this is audio, so I need to say it. I saw under my chin, and I'm like, but I don't like that. And then that made me kind of like. Then I looked under where my bra meets my under fat arm, whatever you call it, the side fat, bra fat. I don't even know what it's called. And I'm like, I poked on that a little, and then I just kind of poked my belly, and then I like looked at myself. Like it kind of took me through this movement in my body, looking at all the areas that
Like
I
over
don't
analyzing the things you don't like.
just
Yeah.
really look, like noticing them, like
Yeah.
really seeing them for what they are. And I was like, I don't like those, but I don't hate them, and I don't hate myself because I have them. It is what it is.
And it
This is
doesn't make
just a
you any
part of
less
my
or
body.
more. Right.
It makes me no less lovable or
Successful
beautiful or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what did you say?
or successful.
Or successful. Because unless I'm willing to spend the money and the pain to get surgery,
Mm-hmm.
it is going to be that way. Period. And I'm not knocking that, but I ain't doing it because I don't like pain. I don't like recovery. I don't like being down. That's just my opinion. It's my decision. I know I won't do that. I know I won't. So I have to learn, like you said, it's got to be a mind shift that's
Yeah.
like, okay, I have this, and it's okay that I have
Yeah.
this.
It
And
is
I'm going to
okay.
keep working on my
Never
body.
let that hang you up. And
It is not going to stop me because
you.
it's not
Yeah.
why I was doing it in the first place. I wasn't trying to get rid of these problem areas. I was trying
Right.
to make my body stronger, healthier,
You want to live
fitter,
longer, all the things
all of
health
that.
wise.
And I
Yeah.
want to look, and I do believe I feel
You can
more
have the looks
confident
too.
because of how I
Yeah.
look. I do. And some say that's wrong. I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
see in the
Never.
mirror and I go, looking good, Molly, looking good in your jeans. Like I don't think there's
Looking
anything
good
wrong
and
with
feeling
that.
good can go together. And that's just the thing. Like,
Absolutely.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. I started this diet just to look a certain way. I didn't have any, and I've said this several times throughout our podcast. I didn't have, let's be real, I didn't think I was going to get here.
Right.
And I think maybe that's what sparks having this conversation is you may be listening and either going through the same thing or you're about to go through it and you have no idea because you're
Right,
about to be
right,
super
right.
successful. And you hear in our community people like, hey, think about this, think about this, think about this. Some of the veterans that have been on our space, they're like, nobody can really prepare you for this because the conversation doesn't happen enough. And I think that's what motivates us to share this is that if you do have the success that you want, understand that it may not look or feel the way you anticipated it a year ago. Then, in fact, when you get to that place where you think you're going to love yourself and the magic rainbows and sunshine comes out and you're like, everything is perfect, may never happen.
Right.
Do not get me wrong. I feel sexy in this body. I feel good in this body. Even saying that I told you I don't like my legs, I don't like the way they look,
Right, right. You
I still
still
feel
right.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have the energy to do things, because I can physically do things. I have tested myself over this year and participated more in life, even with everything going on, than I
Mm-hmm.
ever have ever, because I physically can participate now.
Yeah.
And that has kept me motivated to appreciate this body as well because of the things I can physically do now that I could
Well,
not do before.
right. Well, let's talk about that more because I want to say I have been thinking about why it is that I wanted to lose the weight. Why I want to talk now about some goals that I had set for myself and why I wanted to lose the weight. And I've only recently figured out too, I've got more goals and I'm not able to do them. So I was sharing that with you and you were telling me about a realization that you had in the beginning of your journey about being limited. And I want to share more about that with mine, but I also want you to tell that. I want you to repeat that here, if you don't mind.
So I can't remember what compelled us to do this at work, but we were in the back of our store and we were just being silly. We were slow and everybody was doing cartwheels. I don't know. Don't ask me how this happened. We're crazy.
I love
I've
it. I want to
always
work with you.
we have a really we all no matter what is going on, we have a great time. And we were taking turns and cheered when I was young, and I've always been like fairly limber, very flexible, even heavy. I still had the ability to do those things. Well, I had done cartwheels, prior to this, like maybe, I don't know, a year, maybe two ago, right?
Yeah.
And so not really thinking, not really like evaluating my situation, not it's just been something I've always been able to do, right? Like
Right.
drive a car. Like I didn't think I was like, oh, I can do a cartwheel.
Yeah.
We're all doing cartwheels. I do this cartwheel and I almost really hurt myself. And I had that moment where I realized like, OMG, I am too heavy for this
Wow.
officially.
Yeah.
I don't have my center of gravity. I don't have my bat. Like I was thrown off. And then I was like kind of embarrassed, but laughed
Mm.
it off because that's
Yeah.
what we do,
Yeah.
right? We're
Yeah.
just like, ha ha ha. I
Right.
don't know if I could really do it anyway. Like played it off, right? And then other people did it and they couldn't do it at all. They've never been able to do it. We were just all playing around. So it didn't look like anything, right?
Right.
But I
But you thought,
remember
yeah.
being like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do something I've been able to do my whole life. When did this happen?
Yeah.
And it just really hit me that like that's how out of control like I was health-wise. I couldn't even do something that I just assumed. Like I didn't even evaluate
I
like
was
my
gonna say
situation.
you don't think about
You
something
just
until
don't
you think
think
about it,
about that until you have to do
So
it
you went to
or
go do it and it's like, oh well, wait, I can't do that. What
and
the
I
heck?
physically couldn't do it and it crushed my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It
then
was kind
last
of
year, what'd you do?
but I did a car I can do them. I can do them now with like I mean, I can land them. I can do them.
It was about
I
this time last year, I think, that y'all were on
yeah.
vacation, I think, whenever
No, I was here, but
were you here? Because I know that your little
I
boy.
just attempted it and I was like, it's not going to go down. It's not going to go down. And I did it. And I was like, I literally dropped to my knees and laughed
I
so hard
know.
because
And
I
your
was like,
little one was
I
like,
can do
yay! It was
it. And
such a great
yeah,
video.
and my son was like, yay, he was so excited. And I videotaped it and it's on my Instagram of me doing, I'm like, guys, guess what I can do now? And I know people are probably like, what in the world? But what
No,
that
it's a big
signified
deal.
to me
Yeah.
was how far I had really come to
Right.
that point that
Right.
I got my life back. It was a
Hmm.
small token of, it was like, I didn't even realize how limited I had really gotten.
Right.
And that was a really freeing moment to like, put that
And then you went on to do
into
toe touches
perspective.
off diving
I know.
boards
And
and,
then I went to the trampoline park
and the
and was
trampoline.
doing
Yeah.
toe touches and I was diving off the diving board. I did flips off the diving board.
Right. I remember that
Which
too.
I've never even attempted in my life. It just made me
You were empowered.
and I was so empowered and I felt so amazing. I was like, I can do
I can
anything.
do
I can
anything.
do
Right.
anything
Right.
and
Right.
I'm going
I
to do
love
it.
that.
And here it is. And I got on the beach and I took my picture and there was all these people on the beach and I did it for my keto anniversary. That's when I had my hand up in the air, my hand on my hip. And I'm like, 1 year anniversary. And there's people looking at me and I'm like, yes, I'm getting my picture taken. Can I help you? That would have been, I know. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't look
Yeah.
perfect
I
out there.
love
I
it.
did not care because I
No,
felt
you're
so
proud.
amazing. I was so
Yes.
proud that those
Yes.
things did
It's
not
beyond
matter.
right.
And
Right.
it
It's
was
beyond the
beyond
hanging
looks.
skin. Like that's
It's beyond the
just
skin. It's beyond the
right.
looks of what my body looked like because I physically knew that I had created new milestones,
Absolutely. You had
that I had turned back the
accomplished.
hands of time.
Right.
And
Right.
I was showing my sons that I was showing up and I wasn't sitting on the sidelines. And that was
Love
really
it.
important to me.
Yes, I love that. Well, so I want to say this. I just remembered something as you were talking. I remember. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to lose weight, and this was like 5 or 6 years ago. I told my husband, I said, you know why I want to be smaller? Beyond the fact I wanted to be able to, tie my shoes, paint my toenails, and
Oh,
shave my
yeah.
legs without
Yes.
passing
Not
out.
pass
So, like,
out.
that's the obvious. Climb stairs without being out of
I'm
breath,
serious without being like, give mommy a moment.
Right. But beyond all of those physical, like, challenging
Limitations.
things
Yeah.
that were very limiting and very difficult, for fun wise, I wanted him to be able to pick me up. This sounds so dumb because I remember I totally remember telling him this. I was laying on the couch or the recliner or whatever, and I didn't feel like getting up and getting in the bed. I just didn't. And I'd already lost some weight and all that. But I was like, I want to get even smaller. And he's like, why? I said, because I want you to come pick me up and carry me to bed. He's like, I'll do that. I'm like, no, I don't want you to throw your back out. So like, I want my husband to be able to pick me up and carry me to the bed without him hurting his back or falling down. And he's 6'1". I mean, he's a big guy. He's very
Yeah.
strong, and he
Yeah.
could, but I don't want to be like, oh, you know.
He wouldn't. I'm sure he could
I
scoop
wanted to
you
be able
up.
to just pick me up and carry. And that sounds silly, maybe to some people. I don't care. It's what
It
I
doesn't
want.
matter. Yeah.
And so that was years ago. And then more recently, about a year, I'd say ago, I saw this challenge on social media. And I think it's called the koala climb. And what you do
Yes,
is,
I've seen that.
okay, so my husband, like I said, he's 6'1". I'm only
Mm-hmm.
5'3.5". So like we're very different in size. And he's like 210. And anyway, he's a bigger guy. And so I can imagine myself doing the koala climb on him, but I know I can't do it now because I can't lift my body. I still have more weight to lose. And
Yeah.
I know that. So I haven't even attempted it. But one thing I did attempt recently that I've really wanted to do, again, when you start taking better care of your body and your body starts getting more stamina and it gets
It starts to
more,
reward you
it
with the
does. And
things
it
you
makes
can
you want
do.
to keep doing more
does.
and more, and it gets you
Yes.
more motivated. And there is nothing wrong with that. And so the thing I've wanted to do recently is learn the shuffle, like how to shuffle. If you don't know what that is, just like Google it or something. It's all over social media right now, but it's the
Yeah.
dancing. And I
Yeah.
love to dance. I've danced since I was a little girl. I still dance. I dance all the time, but the shuffle, y'all, that is not easy. It
Yeah,
is
that's a lot of
fast.
work. Yeah.
It is very fast. And I tried to do it and I couldn't keep up. And I was upset. I was truly upset. I'm like,
Disappointed. Yeah.
I was so disappointed. I was like, Molly girl, you got more weight to lose because you want to do this, you better keep losing more weight because it is the weight that's stopping me. I know it is.
Yeah.
I'm not able to do it physically, so I have limitations. I don't want those. So I say, why do you want to lose weight, Molly? There are reasons I want to lose weight. And they may not be something that's deep and sensitive and
It doesn't
it
have to
might
be.
just
That's your journey, and
exactly.
and
That
that's
is
a
the
big
point.
that's a
It's
big point. Is
everyone's
like,
different and it's all personal to them, and it's not
yeah,
for
you
us to judge each other for our
no,
reasoning.
no, and you can't really let anybody else dictate what that is. Somebody can't tell you, well, you want to fit in that bathing suit. That's ridiculous. You should just be worrying
Right.
about your health journey. That's not okay
That's
either, and
wrong to tell people that because that's
it's just kind of
okay.
it's kind of like when we say you can do keto your way. You can lose weight your way. You and whatever that means for you. If that means that how you look is the driving force, use it.
Then
If that
so be it.
means health, use it. If that means physically being able to do something because you feel limited, use that.
That means you
And the
want to
biggest
crawl on
thing
your
here is
husband
that
like a tree. Then you do that.
well, then you little, yes, you
Use
little,
it.
get your little koala hiney up there and do it. So yes, but that is the thing, right? And this is where I say that you can't hate yourself better
Right. Right.
because all the things that we just listed are things that you're looking forward to. Those are no one is getting anywhere by just pointing out what they hate every day. You're
Right.
never going to get there. You got to have something good, girl. You got to have something in your pocket to like, I'm doing this shuffle. This is going down X, Y, and Z. We're getting the outfits. We're putting the camera up. Here's what we're doing, right?
Oh, I'm
Like
recording it when I get it.
whatever it is, right? But you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that is such an empowering way to look at your weight loss journey. That is such
Yeah.
an empowering thing. If you use all of that to spark your movement, you will get further.
Right.
You know,
Right.
hating your body or,
It's going to
you
get you
know,
nowhere.
just wanting it to look one way, and not using all these life things or not finding something that ties into you living your best life, it's only going to carry you so far.
Yeah.
You know, it has a limit. It's kind of like dieting, right? You're only going to get to whatever goal you set, and then it's the
Right.
lifestyle. And
Right.
this is a component that makes it a lifestyle
Right.
because you're talking about your life. What is going to happen to your life? You're going to be able to dance. I'm going to be able to do all these crazy things with my boys and
You can be
push my
doing
body to the
backflips or
limits.
something.
I know, I almost
never
attempted
know.
that last year, and I thought, Ashley, you got bruises. Second round doing the front flips.
Right.
Let's not. You're gonna break your neck. But certainly you can find something that sparks that joy inside of you, that propels you to that next part of your journey, that makes you successful because it's so much more than just the clothes or just the way you look. It's about changing the narrative of who you want to be. Who do you want to be when this is over? And I've
Right.
said that a million times. And I think it's really important because there's a very good chance that who you actually end up is going to be very different than who you think
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
be, because I
Yeah.
know
Be
that
careful
this is
what you,
very different for me than I
yeah.
ever imagined. I did not think that I was going to be dealing with loose skin, or I never thought I was going to lose that much weight.
Yeah.
And it never even made me think about it. I just kept going and then was like, oh, what do I do? Well, wait a minute. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you can get there if you find whatever it is that just makes you super successful and chase that, and you hit your goals. You may very well end up losing all the weight that you want to lose.
Yeah. No, that's good. I like what you were just saying because it makes me think of something that I read over when I was when I was researching the body neutral. And one of the things that I think I already mentioned it, that the philosophy of the body neutral is that you focus on what your body can do rather than what it looks like.
Yeah, I
And
love
so
that.
that's just what we're talking about. And
Yeah.
so body positivity urges us to love our bodies regardless of what they look like. But again, that puts emotion and looks, and that's not what we're necessarily, that is not going to be the big thing, what you
Yeah,
look
it's
like.
just
Because
I just
over
feel like it's
time,
not enough,
it's just
maybe.
not
Like,
enough because,
yeah.
and this is the part that I'm going to bring back in is the aging thing and life and having babies and getting
Yeah, there's
sick.
so many
Like things
factors. Yeah.
happen where your
Surgeries, like
body
all
is going
kinds of
to
stuff.
change and it's going to have things that you're not going to realize.
Anticipate. Right.
Exactly. Like when I was 22 years old and a teeny tiny fit person
Yes.
that I
Yeah.
thought one day I was going to be obese.
You're gonna be here.
No,
Right.
never
Working
thought
through your
it.
stuff now.
But the reality is you have babies, divorces happen, life happens, situations happen. You get knocked
Metabolisms
off your feet,
change.
you get
Yeah.
back up, you get older, your body changes, your skin changes. Like you can get sick and you can be forced to be bedridden. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. So you cannot base the love that you have for yourself on what your body looks like only. You just can't do that.
Yep.
You can't do that, or you're going to set yourself up for failure and disappointment and sadness, in my
Yep.
opinion.
And so the whole message here, right, is that there is nothing wrong with loving yourself and your body. Certainly, and I say this all the time, there is something that you can find that you love about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, the big toe, the elbow,
Pinky toe, the one nostril,
the earlobe.
Everybody has that one like good eyebrow.
I was gonna
You
say,
part your hair to the
I
side
like
just
my
to showcase
eyebrow.
it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with loving the parts that you love and not liking others, and there's
Right.
nothing wrong with wanting to change something.
That's right.
So certainly you can find something that you love about yourself, and certainly you can find something that you want to work on. And for me, diet culture led me to find keto and find a lifestyle. I didn't know that was going to happen. So
Process. Yeah.
the process would have never gotten started if diet culture wasn't around. I certainly think that there's bad representation on either side.
Yeah. Either side, yeah.
But I think if we look deeper and we try to really find the underlying statements of those, it's like diet culture wants to take care of themselves. They want to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And you get to choose how you interpret it. And that's what I'm saying is choose how you want to interpret it. This
Do
is
it
how
your
I
way.
interpret
Right.
diet culture. For me, that is the want to be the best version health-wise of yourself.
Yeah.
Body positivity is loving yourself no matter what, because you
Yeah.
don't get to
Yeah.
change the body right then and there. You can't go back and undo everything you did right then and there. And it does not serve you not to love yourself ever. I don't care what you're doing. If you don't love yourself, that's where you have to start. You'll never get to your goals if you don't love yourself.
Loving yourself is beyond loving what you look like. And I think that's where a lot of what's out there now is missing it, because a lot of the influencers are doing photos, the extremists. I'm talking about the extremists. And it's like talking about loving themselves. I'm like, what were you talking about? Your body? Because you are you. Your body is your shell. You are inside of there. And like we've talked about, the mind work and the emotional work has to be done along the way while you're working on your body. And the diet culture is one that is about getting physically fit, watching your eating and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, they're made to look like enemies, Like we talked about at the
Right.
beginning of this episode, like how they're like this
Diet
battle.
culture is fat shaming. Diet
Right, which they're
culture is
not. They're
bad
not
for you.
necessarily doing that, and
And
it's
are you
wrong.
finding those people? Of course. Are they there? Of
They're on
course. If
both
you'll go find, you'll
sides.
go looking for whatever you're going to go find whatever you're looking for.
Right.
That's just how we are in 2021, and it's been that way for a long time since the internet is
But
now
plenty are
prevalent.
influencing you to get physically active and get better with
Right.
your health because it's important. Your health is important. Your physical health is just as
Yes.
important as your mental health and your emotional health, and they're all tied
And your body
together.
relationship. All of those things
Right.
are tied together. And to have, in what Molly and I think, to have the best of everything means that you work on all of those things.
All of those
That you
things.
can't truly have health unless you work on all those
All of
components.
them. Yes, I
That
love that.
they have to have, they are an ecosystem of one.
Right.
They can't, neither one can exist by themselves. In fact, truly being healthy means you love yourself with the intent to be the best version of yourself, with treating yourself the best way you can,
Right.
and healing from your traumas and working on your future self and learning to love the old you and the new you simultaneously while you become whoever you're meant to be.
I
And
love
all
it.
of those things come together. And this creates who you will be in the future.
That's so good. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what we want. We want
I want
our
that. I want all of that
yeah,
you just said.
That's what we want.
That's what we want.
And that's what we want people to feel. And we want them to search for that, because I really think that there is all of the little majestical pieces of success lie somewhere in you doing that work, and you doing all of that mental, physical, spiritual work, because
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
love
somewhere
it.
along all those things lies the keys to open all the doors that your path leads to.
God, you're so inspiring, Ashley. I'm just sitting here like, wow, I'm a little verklempt. It is talk amongst yourselves. No. I am. I'm very moved right now. Everything you just said, it was just, wow. You're so good with your words. Seriously.
Oh, thank you.
You are. Sorry, and I know I interrupted us again. That's just really good. It's good stuff. I hope that y'all heard Ashley, because I just heard her and I was quite moved by what she just said, and I hope you were as well. We hope that you leave this episode feeling empowered and feeling more aware, or not feeling, but being more aware that there is something in the middle of body positivity and the diet culture, and it's called body neutral. So let's talk about that more. Let's put that out there more. Let's go
share
with
that. Yeah.
Let's do that more. I'm going to hashtag that so much. I'm going to hashtag it so much, because it is worth being. I think it's going to be so good for so many people to learn more about this. I find it's, you know what? It goes back to what you and I love, which is balance. We love balance in all things. So thank y'all so much for joining us today with this episode. We're glad that you were here, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. You can find and connect with us over on Instagram at More Than Just Keto. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the fun. We'll see you next time.